Alright, one of the major questions that we always seem to get from many people is, what is a large cent? What is a small cent? Why did they have a large cent in the early days of the nation? Why is it small now? Why wasn't it always small? Those kind of things. Now, this is an example of what a large cent would look like. Very large. It's around the size of a little less than a $50. It's around the size of, say, like the newer dollar coins that you see out there in the market. And then this is what like we look at today. This is a small cent. One of the main reasons why they change these, and we have some examples here which I'll go through in a minute. One of the reasons why they changed these was that by 1857, the cost of let's just say the ingredients to make it, the metal itself, the copper, was getting expensive to make these kind of coins, because look at how much copper that is. That would have been 1 cent worth of copper when they first started making coins in the United States. But then as you get into the 1850s and 60s and things like that, they had to go to a small one because one reason, price of copper was getting expensive. Also, it was quoted that the Mint director James Ross Snowden reported that they were barely paying the expenses. And also, large and half cents were not being readily used. I'm going to try to zoom you in here a little bit with a loop. I don't know exactly how well it's going to work because it is bronze. It's hard to pick up on the camera. But this right here is a half cent, which is around the size of a quarter, and it would have been exactly half the amount that would have been in a large cent. And what they did in this act is the reform of 1853 also called for things like they had 3-cent silver pieces at the time, which was smaller silver. So what they did is they abandoned the half cent. So this coin right here no longer existed, which looks the same as this large cent here. They're hard to pick up on camera. They abandoned those. So they got rid of the large cents. Those are all gone. They went to small cents, and they started with the coin that we're going to do in this video, which is the Flying Eagle cent. So the reason why they got rid of all that was mostly because of that. It should also be noted that during that reform, they got rid of Spanish and British coins and things like that, that up until this point you could still use as currency in the United States. And then with the new smaller cents coming out, it actually brought popularity back into the consumers of the United States, us being the people. We didn't like carrying around this large. Imagine carrying around 2 or 3 of these as opposed to 2 or 3 of these. The size difference, see, we'll show you the size difference right there is enough to say you don't want to carry them around anymore. So that is why we ended up going to a smaller cent. We just had to kind of throw that into the first video to make people aware why we're talking about a small cent. Alright, the design of the first coin of the series, the Flying Eagle cent. It's the first small cent. On the front, you have a eagle in flight. I'm trying to get in there with the loop. Again, it's a little hard with copper and small coins. But the front has an eagle in flight with United States of America around the top rim, and it has the date, which in this case is in 1858 on the front. On the reverse of the coin, the back of the coin, It has the word 1 cent, and it has a wreath around it, so 1 cent's in the middle. The wreath around it is corn, tobacco, and oak wreath. And it was also originally designed that was going to be used on the following Indian head cent. So there's the design of the coin. The designer of many coins in the mid-1800s was a man by the name of James B. Longacre. His image is here. He lived from August of 1794 to January of 1869, and he was appointed the chief engraver of the U.S. Mint in 1844 after Christian Godbreck had passed away, which was the normal thing in that time. You usually were in that position until you died, and then somebody else would be appointed as your successor. He made many notable designs, including the Flying Eagle cent, the Indian head cent, the 2 cent piece, the 3 cent silver piece, and the shield nickel, all of which were during that 1850s, 1860s period. And he also designed some of the gold coins from that time, $1 and $3 gold pieces. And he was well known for his designs, and in recent years, within the last 50 years, he's been very praised for them. And there's also been indication that him bringing in images like the Native Americans on coins really brought people after him to really have an influence to design good coinage. He was succeeded by his assistant, William Barber, who you will see in this series later, as the chief engraver of the U.S. Mint after he died suddenly at his home in January of 1869. Specifications. We all like to know the specifications. These also come in handy in a lot of cases for authenticity purposes, especially with silver coins or rare coins. People want to know if they're authentic, and one of the big deals is specifications. If they use the wrong kind of metal or an off kind of metal or wrong size, that can really give you a difference. And we'll start out with the weight of the Flying Eagle. The Flying Eagle weighed 4.67 grams or 72 grains, which back then some people were still big into the grain weight. It was 88% copper and 12% nickel. And actually back in this time, these were called nickels because the nickels as we know it did not exist yet. Which you will find out in later episodes as we continue through the series. And it's 19 millimeters in diameter, which is what all the small cents are all the way up to today. And it has a plain edge. And another thing that we should also point out is that these are much thicker than modern coins. Right here is how thick one of these are. And I'm going to show you the comparison of how thick one of these are as opposed to how thick a modern penny is, which they're about twice as thick. So keep that in mind when you're buying and selling and trading these kind of coins. When it comes to the Flying Eagle cent, there are no mint marks, so you don't have to worry about trying to get a rare mint mark or anything like that. They were all produced in Philadelphia, which is what all the copper coins at the time were, and there are all non-mint marked because they did not put Philadelphia mint marks on them at that time. So you won't find a mint mark on these, all Philadelphia. vintages. Are these hard to come by? In this kind of grade, no, not really. You can buy these in lower grades, anywhere from $10 to about $30. And you can build the entire set for $100, the basic set, because it was only made 2 years. The only circulating years was 1857 and 1858. It was a very short-lived series. And if you want an entire set, they did make a 1856 pattern, and it was also a special strike. They made them for like senators and things like that. It's estimated they made about 2,000 to 3,000 of them, so they go for pretty large numbers in the few thousands and up. And the only other real key date to any of this is there was a 8/7, so it would be 1858/7 variety, which can run, $100 and up. So it is a little bit of a date. And the 1858 also had small and large letter varieties, and I'm going to try to see if I can get it to show up on the camera here. But the difference in the small and large letter varieties would be in the word America. So you got United States of America. The A and the M would either be close and touching, or they wouldn't be touching, and that's the difference between small letters and large letters. And they go for about the same price. There's not much difference in them because it was about a 50-50 estimate of how many came out each way. So the entire set, 3-piece set, you can get, like I said, for about $100. I usually sell these on average between about $15 and $25 a piece because I get the lower grade ones. I don't really have any high grade ones here. So it's definitely affordable. If you really want to build these, you can go out and build one and just run with it. So people always think type coins that are this old are a lot of money, and they're not. So just keep that in mind, that they're not all a lot of money, and there's really no rare dates except for the 56 trial. It was a trial strike, pattern strike, specimen strike. And there were also, I should mention, there are also a few proofs. The estimates are a few hundred on average for each of the years, and they were mostly for like gifts and rich people and things of that nature.